glad you could join us this beautiful evening on TV 47. And today, Pledge Watch takes you all the way to Kakamega, whichever way you want to call it. Governor Wycliff Oparanya is on board, and he's equally the chair of Council of Governors. So today we put him to task in regards to the pledges he made to the people of Kakamega. We get to hear whether indeed he's successfully been able to achieve the key things that he had promised the people of Kakamega, whether in the first term or the second term. Remember, he is on his second and last term as governor as per the constitution. So we get to hear whether indeed he will be going home a satisfied man, or whether at all he's actually going to be going home. So those are the key questions we'll be asking him this beautiful evening, and we welcome your feedback and your question to hashtag Pledge Watch. And we also talk a bit about, just getting to hear what you have to say, the questions that you're going to ask him. It's pretty much important. It's going on Twitter. I can see that there are lots of feedback coming in already, and of course these are questions that will direct to Mheshimiwa directly. So welcome on board once again. My name is Linda Alela, and doing this alongside Josephine Ouko, as always, as our sign language interpreter. We have so much in store, but then again, we cannot go without discussing the much discussed coronavirus, especially now that it has found its way into the country. And we ask, how best are our counties prepared towards ensuring that they deal with this particular pandemic? And of course, we saw declarations from the governors at some point in time yesterday, different counties coming out with their special declarations or special measures that they're going to take towards ensuring that they protect their counties. But then again, we ask, why are they not speaking in unison in terms of the standard measures that they would put across the counties? And of course, the chair of the Council of Governors will be explaining or taking us through that. So much so in store for you. So keep it right here and ensure that you talk to us. Tweet us, hashtag Pledge Watch. Let's get to hear what you have to say, and most importantly, what Mheshimiwa has in store for us. Let's first of all listen into what the people of Kakamega had to say, or have to say, in regards to the declaration that was made yesterday by Mheshimiwa, of course, specifically on the butcheries or the morgues.
Tuko na huzuni kwa rukushiwa kuja kutoa brother wangu mochari kabla hatujapanga kama familia. Wametuharakisha tukuja tuchukue mwili yetu.
Naomba Mheshimiwa Governor aweze kugharamia hii gharama ya kufanya nini, ya kulipia malipo ya bili ya hospitali na ya mochari. Maana yake saa hii watoto wamerudishwa nyumbani, kila kitu imesimama, na hiyo ni mzigo kwa wazazi.
Wameniharakisha haraka nikuje nitoe mwili yangu mochari, na hata sikuwa nimejipanga, ndio nilikuwa bado najipanga. Sasa niko tu kwa hali ya heka kwa sababu sijui vile naweza fanya. Hata jeneza peke yake nilikuwa sijapata, hata gari ya kubeba maiti mimi nilikuwa bado sijapata.
Sisi tunaomba tu Mheshimiwa wetu Governor ashughulike, sababu wametuharakisha sana na hatuna namna, hatuna mbele wala nyuma. Hata akisema anataka kufanya nini, kulipa bili, na huko nyumbani hatuna chochote. Sasa tungetoa, hata wangetupea wiki mbili ndio tutoe mwili.
Hatuna namna hata ya kununua majeneza kule nyumbani, wengi hatuna vile tunaweza panga kule nyumbani. Kwa hivyo tunaomba Mheshimiwa, hata kama tutatoa mwili huu na watu hawajajipanga huko nyumbani, hatuna vile tunaweza kufanya. Tafadhali tusaidie.
Yes, those are the views of the people of Kakamega, and compiled by our very own reporter Mulindi Kare, who's on ground. But before that, Mheshimiwa, thank you so much for finding time to be with us this evening. You've come all the way from Kakamega, and we're glad at least you could humbly, of course, grace our set this evening. The people of Kakamega longing to hear from you, and also the people of Nairobi, and across all counties, the 47 counties of the country. But before we delve into the discussion and react to that, I think it's important that we sanitize ourselves as expected. Kindly, Karo, if you'd give us the honor of sanitizing ourselves. Some of us say that we are fond of saying hi, but now we are curtailed from doing this. Thank you so much, Cairo. But then, of course, Mheshimiwa, as we have heard from the people of Kakamega upon that declaration that you made yesterday. Of course, first of all, we'd love to ask, and this is what they're actually asking, what informed that decision that you made yesterday?
Thank you very much, first of all, Linda, for inviting me to the studio tonight. And I'm happy to be here for the first time.
Thank you.
Congratulations, you have a very beautiful place.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. Now, as you know, this virus is there, the coronavirus.
Right.
And this is a global infectious disease which is killing so many people.
Right.
At the moment, we have over 7,000 people who have lost their lives. In Kenya, the first week, we never had anybody. Now we have 4 confirmed cases. We don't know what will happen tomorrow. So we are taking precaution. And as you know, our people, that's our culture.
Right.
Of course, when we lose the loved ones, we are fond of now coming together.
Together, yes. It's engraved deeply.
It takes time. They plan for it, and you can see what they are saying.
But sometimes the planning, Mheshimiwa, is informed by the fact that maybe they don't have enough funds.
Their
relatives abroad that have to travel in.
And I thought, and you see, as the bodies in the mortuary, that's the time now they are at home, coming together until the burial. So what I'm trying to do is that to make sure that they take the body as quick as possible so that they are not able to now meet at home and talk about it and plan and so on.
It was a catch-22 for them today, according to the reports that we get, in terms of, who pays for these bills.
And furthermore,
right.
I've given them up to Friday next week.
Okay.
So they can't say it was immediate, it was a surprise.
Right.
I've issued a circular, specific circular, and there were 67 bodies there. So up to Friday next week. I've also said to help them is that I waive all the mortuary expenses.
So would you say that this information has not reached, some of them?
Yeah, maybe it has not reached some of them.
Who is tasked towards ensuring that they're
Actually,
informed?
I have the communication officer, and I have also my CC in charge of health, who has communicated this. We have put it even on the signboard there. These are the conditions that if you have medical expenses, of course, those ones they will have to pay. But for mortuary expenses, those ones are waived. And there is this sentence of keeping the bodies there for too long. And aunts, uncles, they are meeting. And of course, we need very few people.
Have you done a spot check of, the number of bodies that could be within the mortuary? And this would come from the county's kitty, and is the county in a position to be able to waive all this?
Yes, there are 65 of them.
All right.
So we have said we are going to waive. It's actually millions of children.
Okay.
But we have said for the sake of our people, because I know the poverty levels in the county. So I've decided to waive that. And we have given them up to next week. On Friday, they should have taken the body.
Some of them ask, what happens in the event that there's someone who has just died? Actually, one was very much particular, just that we were not able to play that. What happens if someone falls down, in one of the rivers down here, and we have to take them to the mortuary today or tomorrow of the day
what we have said, every case will be reviewed, case-to-case basis. But in most cases, we are saying if someone has died at home, just plan to bury the following day.
Right.
So that there is no this scattering. This disease is there and is killing people. So we have to take precaution. And you never know who will die of it. So that's why we have to take this precaution.
In the event that there are cases in regards to the bodies, because we also witnessed that maybe someone has been murdered, so of course there has to be some involvement.
Now, murdered cases, those are exceptional because those are police cases. And in fact, if you came to the mortuary, there is a section for the police cases.
Right.
So those ones will have to be there because, there are cases and so on.
Yeah.
But these are straightforward cases. Those are the ones we are talking about.
Okay.
That those should actually be removed.
All right, so yesterday...
And people are complying, by the way.
Oh, yes?
Yeah, they are.
At least they are.
Today,
well, at least from that...
Today they were moving the bodies,
All right, interestingly, now we still talk about the preparedness of the counties, and Kenyans are worried about that because today we see actually students being told to go back home. Some of them are actually going back to the counties, but then the question is, what if it crosses over to the counties? Kiambu has just reported cases, and, that is the biggest worry. And we saw different governors making declarations and placing measures and orders in regards to what we're going to do as a country. But then again, Gerald asks this. Governor, of course, the people are concerned about, using the Council of Governors in drastic measures to be taken by counties rather than each and every governor coming out with their own measures. They need to harmonize their communication. What would you make of that statement?
Now, let me tell you...
Or special cases?
Yeah, let me tell you that before all this came up, there is the National Steering Committee, which was formed by the President.
Right.
under the chairmanship of the CS Health, Mr. Mtai Kagwe.
Yeah.
Now, that committee, we were requested to nominate our person to sit there. So we nominated our chair of health, the Council of Governors, Dr. Kuti, the governor for Isiolo. So he has been sitting there. They came with structures that we should have. Structures at the county level, which are co-chaired by the governor and the county commissioner, and it has its own membership. These are the ones who are supposed to come up with these measures that we are undertaking at the county level. So even as we prepare, this committee meets, reviews issues that we, like what we have issued, you have talked of the mortuary and so on. We had to meet and say, let us give them more time. So these people come out with measures. And sometimes our environments are different. Yeah, you know, if you are a Muslim, you have someone who dies, you bury.
Very simply.
So the issue you have taken in Kakamega will not apply. So that's why you cannot standardize. However, there are issues that you can actually standardize, like making sure cleanliness, making sure people don't come together. Those are standards, especially the ones that the president outlined. So those are so we have actually those structures are there. The only thing that we are having a problem is that this is actually a national disaster. And a national disaster is the responsibility of the national government to make sure that there are necessary support for the counties. At the moment, as I talk now, and tomorrow I'll be issuing a statement on this, that support, apart from the information coming, this is what you should do, but the financial support has not been there. Because, you know, we are now approaching towards the end of our budget.
Allocations of,
so most of the allocations, emergency funds are exhausted. So they might not be there. But in any case, at the county, we deal with very minor emergency cases. This is a major issue. In fact, in Kakamega, we need 110 million.
Is that to tell the people of Kenya that they should be worried? Because there's been this feeling on ground that the reaction is coming in a little bit too late, and the fact that they are not so much, there's not so much confidence from the people in terms of how the government is handling this. Are you affirming that indeed the government has failed, the national government for that matter?
It has not failed as such. Maybe, I don't know, we should give them time, and we have been in contact with the minister, and he says in 2 days we will see a difference. Because we went to Kemsa to have those gears, the kids, they were not there. We were given only 10. We were supposed to have 5,000. They are not there. The non-pharmaceutical products like gloves, they are not there. They are out of stock. So this is something that we should address as a county as quick as possible.
That's pretty much unfortunate. Of course, the people of Kenya are looking up to the leadership to see whether we'll be able to fight this. But that aside, you mentioned something to do with allocation of funds, which is crucial, which is something that you've been championing for the longest of time. Probably what could have informed you coming back to the chair of Council of Governors, from what, of course, your fellow governors would say. And just the other day, you witnessed, some level of course, hard tight stance meted upon you by members of the county assembly within Kakamega, And at some point in time, their biggest concern was on the aspect of accountability in terms of the funds that have been channeled towards Kakamega County, and of course the aspect of intimidation and gagging. What would you make of this move? Do you suppose they were genuine? And of course, we've had cases that have been reported equally by the reports from the Auditor General.
By the way, those were media makings, because I have not.
We have the names of some of the three members of the county assembly.
I saw a picture in the newspaper. Very strange picture that some members of the county assembly had walked out when I was making a speech. There was no walkout. And they showed
but is it not the county communication director who came out to dispute that and said that, it's a sheer politics?
I didn't even realize it. One or two people would move out to go and help themselves. This is normal. But I never
go and help themselves. Wait a minute.
I never felt it completely as what they are talking does not exist.
Right.
Otherwise, I will have actually reacted to it. And sometimes I don't want to make stories where there are no stories. Yes.
All right, but then what would you make of this declaration again by your, sort of director of communications in regards to the same, saying that, you know what, this is just sheer politics. Forget about these people who are trying to make side shows. That was not directed to the media, but certainly to some of these members
in
of
a political environment,
yes.
we operate in our political environment. We are not like the 100%. Right. There might be some who crumble here because they are in another camp, and that is normal.
Okay, if we are to overlook that aspect,
yes.
If somebody were to stand today and say that, you know what, we still have questions on the accountability within Kakamega County, what would you say? I mean, is it all well?
You
yes.
see, like me, I'm an accountant.
Right.
Those questions will always be there.
Right.
You know, this is an institution of 7,000 people. And an institution of 7,000 people, queries are bound to be there. I do not check on everybody, and not all those people sit at the headquarters. We have the sub-counties.
Right.
We have 12 sub-counties. We have 60 wards. And those all those institutions, there is money, for operations here. So they might be misused in another ward and so on, or sub-county. Those are bound to be there.
All right.
And that's why we have auditors to come and detect and then report, and we take action.
I hope these members of County Assembly are actually listening. Farouk Mchanje, Isoha South, Walter Ndati, Mutoto South.
Those are very notorious.
They are the very same people who are making these claims. But anyway, Mheshimiwa,
those are the very notorious.
I don't know why you assume that, why you conclude that they are notorious, yes?
Find out which political camp are they. They are NC, all of them.
Yes?
Yes.
But they're, well...
They are in the opposition, and that's my opposition there.
ODM, all right.
So obviously, So that's local politics.
All right, that's an interesting one. I hope they are able to call as we proceed with the broadcast. But anyway, let's cross over to our reporter on ground, Salome Moirori, who's, engaging with the people. And also they will get to tell us their feel in regards to the preparedness of COVID-19, at the respective level of the counties. Salome, if you... Oh, yeah, there we go. Good evening, Salome.
Thank you very much, Linda. We are coming to you live from the CBD. Yes. As a matter of fact, you will be expecting that the CBD will be a ghost town. But as you can see behind me, is the fact that we have several people walking around, guys that have not adhered to the current regulations that they have been given by the CS. And despite the fact that there has been a new case of a person who has been known to be infected by the COVID-19, we still have a lot of people in town. But I was able to speak to a few people who are talking about the preparedness, the level of preparedness by the county. And they have several questions to the chair of the Council of Governors, who is Wycliff Oparanya. And joining us, maybe you can tell us your name and what are your sentiments in regards to the preparedness of counties.
Well, thank you very much. My name is Festus. I think the government, through the media, has created awareness to the public, because they have already mentioned that schools are to be closed, universities are to be closed, and people have to take measures like using sanitizers. So I think we are, like here in Nairobi, we are very much prepared. Even in churches, before you enter a church, you have to sanitize yourself. Before you enter into some hotels, I think we are, the government, especially in Nairobi, we are actually very much prepared.
But what about when it comes to the counties back at home? Do you think that the counties are prepared?
I think in the villages, more needs to be done, because I think they are not very much prepared. They still need to be educated about the symptoms, how to self-quarantine, because I don't think that even people in the village have supervisors even for self-quarantine. So a lot needs to be done in terms of educating people in the villages.
So, Mias, you've talked about self-quarantine, and we've seen a new case that has been reported today. And do you think that it has an impact in terms to the way the counties will, going forward, prepare themselves?
Yeah, well, of course, the new case that has come into before us actually has a great impact, because it shows that this COVID-19 is more likely to spread. So the counties have to be prepared in case we'll have more cases, so that we can have mitigation measures.
Yeah, thank you very much. That is one of the person who we had talked to in the spirit of gender parity, and the governor has been known to be a person who champions for gender parity. Let's talk to one person here. She's a lady. She's called Florence. She has been in the civil society. Maybe she can talk to us about preparedness in terms of the counties. Do you think that the counties are prepared to handle this pandemic?
Before I talk about the counties, I should advise people surrounding here to adhere to the rules that were given by the government, keeping distance. So first and foremost, keep distance. You must not be so close to me, because those are some of the things that you are told to adhere to. So you as an individual, before we talk about the county government, what are you doing as an individual to make sure you keep the coronavirus away? So first and foremost, as we speak here, these people who are trying to come closer to me, they should be keeping distance, because that is one of the rules. Secondly, we were told as individuals we should use sanitizers in our houses, in our offices, and I have seen several buildings have adhered to that. Several matatus have adhered to that. Especially, I want to congratulate ROG Sacco, because from the time you step in, the conductor asks a sanitizer at the doorstep, and it gives you to sanitize your hand.
But is this translated to the counties?
No, it is not translated to the counties. But I said, because charity begins at home, I must talk first about what I can do to protect myself from the coronavirus. Then I come to the counties, because the county can do what they can do here or wherever they are. But if I don't do what I should do as an individual, I won't keep coronavirus away. So first, let's start with the individuals. What can you do? Are you adhering to those regulations that were given by the Ministry of Health? That is number one. Are other public offices adhering to that? That is another issue. So let's come to the county preparedness. When I look at Nairobi County particularly, which is in the capital city of Kenya, it is not prepared.
Interesting views right there from the people, and I think that's an activist for sure.
Where is she?
She's in Nairobi.
She's in Nairobi.
She's within Nairobi, and the biggest fear is now, as they travel home, then what? Sensitization aspect is one thing that she's raised that is pertinent. We probably had not discussed or addressed that. In as much as it's national government, sort of duty, I think at the level of sensitization and going around to the people, then it's squarely for the county.
You see, that's why I told you that already we have this committee at the county level. We have taken measures as outlined by the President and also outlined by the Ministry of Health. We have done that, created isolation rooms at the headquarters, at the General Hospital, and also at level 4 hospital. I have 13 level 4 hospitals. We have all done that. But as I told you, we have also structures, both for the national government and the county government, in the name of chiefs, assistant chiefs, ours, ward administrators, community administrators. These people, we have told them to sensitize people at the local level. But obviously, all this and the training, we have trained already 232 people who are now, we have said they should also train others. Yesterday, I had all faith organizations meeting me, the bishops and so on. We met about 50 people. We have said today they should also be trained so that they can go to the rural areas and try to educate people. We have also requested them that they should avoid being in groups. Things of going to the church on Sunday, they should reduce that for the next 30 days, at least until we see that the disease is contained.
Yes, we certainly follow up closely on that. We'll certainly be here as the media fraternity to update the people.
Also on Sunday, just to review and just go around and see are they adhering to that or not. We have counseled people who are having weddings and such things.
All right.
Yeah.
When we come back for a break, of course, that's what we're taking right now. We'll be eyeing on Kakamega. We get to hear why these members of County Assembly are considered notorious and whether they would be allowed at some point to equally echo their issues, because then again, they are representing the people, and they know sometimes, you have the opposition, so at least it gives the incumbent or the government a hard check. Yes.
I've been in politics for 25 years, so I've gone through that.
All right.
It's not a big issue.
All right. Remember, the hashtag is #PledgeWatch. We'd love to hear what you have to ask Mheshimiwa. You can as well call in. The numbers to call are rolling down on your screen, and we'll love to hear what you have to say right after this short video. So keep it right there. Don't you go anywhere.
Coronavirus COVID-19 is a respiratory virus spreading across the world. The infection is spread from droplets of coughing and sneezing of an infected person, touching or shaking hands, or being in contact with contaminated surfaces or objects with the virus. The signs and symptoms are fever, coughing, headache, body ache, difficulty in breathing. The disease can be prevented by regularly washing hands with soap and running water. Avoid close contact with people who have flu-like symptoms. Avoid handshake, hugs, and kissing. Also, protect yourself by covering your mouth or nose using a disposable tissue while coughing or sneezing. If you experience these symptoms and you had traveled or been in contact with a person from a country reporting COVID-19, you should isolate yourself for 14 days and seek immediate medical attention or report to the nearest health center. This message has been brought to you by the Government of Kenya and its partners. For accurate information on COVID-19, dial *719# or call 719. Follow us on Twitter at @MOH_Kenya, @spokesperson GOK, @WHO.
Welcome to Woodland Resort, where our key agenda is to provide comfort and elegance. We have spacious, well-appointed yet robust rooms designed to have a perfect view of the surrounding, offering a panoramic view of the countryside. It is family-friendly with a detailed lounge area, kitchenette, bathtubs, and modern showers to create the home away from home feeling. Woodland Resort, for comfort and elegance. Located in the outskirts of Kitale Town, Kitale-Webuye Road, opposite St. Joseph's Boys, Kitale.
Now let's get to Kakamega County, the developments, the accusations, the finger pointing, that has come from the people and equally other leaders. And at some point you mentioned that, you're used to some of these feasts made upon you, and we remind ourselves of the aspect of that particular time that we're looking at Bomo, that move, Bomo, within Kakamega. Something that the likes of Boni Halwale, who's also been punching you pretty hard, sort of felt like, this was a way of curtailing the small economies. How far are we with that aspect? And, how was it received at the level of the county, looking at also the fact that you had an interest of ensuring that this place or the city is clean?
You see, my pledge was that I make Kakamega city. And that's what I've tried. And to make...
I just declared it a city.
To make a town a city is a journey.
Right.
So we have started that journey. There are basic issues that you have to undertake, to make it a city.
Right.
One, the city must be clean. It must have proper sanitation. A sanitation system must be there. There must be water, electricity, good roads. So this is what I've been trying to do. And unfortunately, I just found out that kiosks were mushrooming everywhere. And some of my officers who are supposed to curtail this were part of the cartel.
Okay.
And that's why I reacted the way I reacted. I woke up on the 2nd of January. It was after 1st January. And when I went to town, because people had taken advantage of the holiday and the fact that we had closed the office for 1 week, I found kiosk had been constructed up to my doorstep.
Would you rather, have goons within the town, or than actually having these, kiosks mushrooming up and Kenyans earning their own?
I didn't have goons as such. I didn't have goons. Right. And then what I did, I went to the market. We have a big market. I went to the market and I found it empty.
All right. Okay.
People had moved out of the market
and came
to the street. So what I did, I just told them, can you go back to the market and leave this place?
Right.
Because customers would definitely come there because they used to come. So go back. So those who are complaining that I removed them on the streets and I didn't show them where to go, they had already with stalls at the market.
Right.
So I told them, can you go back? But the few ones that who could not go to the market because they had not been allocated there, I gave kiosks. I gave Morton kiosks, so some were allocated.
Right.
And I've now reorganized the town. I've acquired land, 6 acres. I'm doing a Morton market, and the rest will be allocated there. Yes.
All right, interesting. Right there, we leave that aside and we address the sugar companies, the sugar sector, which is crucial, which is something that you hold so dear. But still the people of Kenya sort of feel like, much has not been put towards reviving this. We have lacked employment in the country. We still grapple with issues. Some of the people who were fired or, were laid off at this particular time are still complaining. And, so much money has been channeled towards that. The interest of the president has been that. Committees have been formed towards ensuring that this is revived. Why are we still talking about the same?
It is unfortunate that when we came in 2013, the sugar industry was already collapsing. More so the state-owned companies, or where the state had majority controls. They are all collapsing. You can talk of Chemelil, Miwani, Moroni, Sony, Zoya, and then Mumias, where the government has 20% share. But they had all collapsed. But I think where it started raining on us was that before the elections, around 2012, the national government decided to repeal the Sugar Act. So when they repealed the Sugar Act, and then we were put under Crop Act. And sugar is a sensitive product. So it was lumped together with coffee, with tea, pyrethrum, they're all lumped together into one. And the dynamics of all these crops is quite different. So when I went in, the sugar industry had collapsed. And since that time we were in opposition. We could not be heard. 2013 to 2017, we were in opposition. So we could not be heard. They used to come there, Jubilee government used to come there, they pumped in 3 million shillings, it went down the drain, nothing came up. But it's good that now 2017, they could listen to us. And I'm happy that the president also appointed me to co-chair the sugar task force. So we have now established the problems of the sugar, where it started and where we should go to save that particular industry. And recently, we gave the report to the president, and we are hopeful because there is a technical committee.
Right.
He assured us that we should point out the quick wins, and our committee has already come up with quick wins, which we have presented to him. We are hopeful that in the budget there will be a provision to revive this company. But one of the critical issues, we have agreed that the Sugar Act must come back to create order in that particular industry. That is critical because there is no order at all. And where there is disorder, you cannot attract serious investors to come into.
Right.
Because we want to privatize this company so that they are run as private companies.
Right.
But so long as government is in it,
this is going to be a problem.
So we are hopeful,
right.
and of course, at the county level, I've also taken measures because agriculture is devolved. I've also taken measures now. I'm recruiting farmers. We want to support them with input so that we revive that industry. You can imagine Mumia Sugar used to employ about 3,000 people.
And indeed, and you mentioned the farmers, and I agree that the farmers are grappling and they're complaining about this, and they're highly dependent on that. Squarely, like you've put it, the leaders at some point sort of failed them. But then again, there are a raft of issues that are supposed to be addressed in this particular time, and we're looking at a very sort of limited time in regards to one, the exit of President Uhuru Kenyatta. You were told we're not going to go for a referendum, and two, your exit as a second-term governor. We're talking about sugar levy, privatization of public sugar mills, what you have mentioned, enhancement, efficiency, enactment of Sugar Act. The sugar levy was equally charged on matters consumers. The revenue needed that is actually needed to assist this, and the boost and raft of proposed reform measures. In this short period that we are looking at, is it a question where we're saying that once you're exiting the stage as governor of Kakamega, you'll look back and say that indeed we have been able to revive this? Or again, it's going to be something that has been acted upon haphazardly, and then we'll be awaiting for the next leadership that is going to come in to address that?
That's why I told you that in that report that we presented to the president, we have agreed on quick wins. And one of the quick wins is to have the Sugar Act in place. Right. So there is already a bill before the National Assembly. In fact, we were supposed to have discussed this report yesterday, but because of the COVID-19, it was not possible.
Yes.
So that bill is already there. We have come up with the sugar levy to be reinstated. We have started recruiting farmers. So there are quick wins, but what is important is that we now have proper legislation that can sustain that particular industry. So it will not matter who comes in. Whoever comes in, there will be structures, there will be regulations, there will be an act of parliament that now can sustain that particular industry. And as I've told you, there was a mistake to repeal the Sugar Act.
Okay, we wait to see what will come out in regards to that. But let's cross over again to Kakamega and hear what the people have to say in terms of matters development and what they felt on ground. Some of them have been sending messages, by the way, a lot of accolades coming in regards to the same. And we'll equally come back to you and get to hear how you rate yourself in terms of development as it stands. So let's listen in to the people of Kakamega and we come back to react on the same.
Kwa majina naitwa Daniel ya Malemba. Mimi ni dereva nafanya Kakamega Kisumu. Na hii tauni yetu tumeridhishwa na utendakazi wa gavana wetu. Lakini upande wa sekta ya transport kwa upande wa matatu ndio tunaona bado tuko na shida kidogo. Kwa hivyo hiyo ndio ningeomba tu yana serikali yake watusaidie, sababu sisi watu wa magari, makondakta na madereva tunahangaishwa sana.
Upande wa njia Oparanya amesaidia njia, amejenga hospitali, amejenga mojari, ametengeneza viwanda, amefanya usafi. Hata ukiangalia njia ya Miesi mpaka Pongoma anaendelea kuunda, kuangalia njia ya kwenda Kisumu imekuwa safi sana.
Amefanya lakini haijatosha. Maana yake tukisema ametosha hata endelea kufanya. Unajua Waswahili husema tembo akisifiwa ama mgema akisifiwa tembo ulitia maji. Amejaribu lakini si wa kutosha. Aendelee kupanua barabara. Kuna zingine za wanafunzi huko Koromatangi haziko sawa. Aendelee hapo, aweke lami, na vile vile kuna lights zinafaa kuwekwa huko Tizo. Sasa Oparanya amejaribu lakini haijatosha.
Kila mahali town hapa, soko iko sawa na usafi pia iko sawa. Tunamwambia eko Mheshimiwa Oparanya, tunakupenda.
All right, yes, indeed. The recommendations that right there are praises coming from the people. And I'll pinpoint some of the key things that you had mentioned during the campaign sessions. And as one had said, you know, one would argue that maybe, or maybe a majority of people sort of feel like, you know, during the first time you did so much, but then came to the second time there was some level of relax, because then there was so much praise and then you were like, you know, swallowed by that. But then these are some of the things that you had promised the people. You said, we will digitize all county services to improve efficiency, reduce wastage, and improve revenue collection. We will also introduce free laptops in nursery schools and polytechnics. He has promised you had promised actually to tarmac 200 kilometers of roads in the country. In the county, sorry. Yes, there's
160 done.
160 done. So we're still
40.
Okay, all right. 240 million that will see poor families get electricity and all that. Has that been felt? Electricity and aspect?
That has not been done, and I will explain.
All right, explain as you tell us what you feel like, you know, or what you would pinpoint as your key achievements, or what you would boast so far.
Let me tell you that I made promises, and obviously these promises are based also on the finances that I'm able to get from the national government, and also the raise own revenue from our own resources locally.
Mheshimiwa, as an accountant, I would want to assume that you would have calculated that before you promised the people, you know,
And you see, in the first term, in terms of revenue growth, we did very well. The national government growth was about 10% per year, every 10%. So if we started with 8 billion, so you are sure you'll get 8.8 or 9. The other year you'll get 10. But unfortunately this time, the revenue has been standard. Since we came in, and you know the problems we underwent. And I think also the president was trying to get a bearing. And since he found that now he has a bearing, he's having his last term, and then now they are shrinking. He had also overcommitted through his promises. Then and also the Kenya Revenue Authority could not raise enough revenue. In fact, revenue has started declining. Now we are at a same level.
What informed, you know, sort of the softness that came along after the rigidity that we had witnessed? You know, a series of press, you know, reports coming out, and you know, governors seemed like they would be rigid enough with the support of the senators. What really informed the change of tone?
You see, we went to court in terms of the way the national government was behaving. We went to court. We filed a case. Up to now, the court has not pronounced itself to what we requested. And now, this time, the government was more open to us. They came with the figures, outlined them, and furthermore, the president now encouraged consultations. In that, for the first time, you find that we are now meeting with the cabinet, his cabinet. Governors meet with the cabinet, and they are able to share some of these issues openly. Through that, you are now able to also understand the problem that the national government is going through.
Sadly, the taxpayer does not want to understand that. How do you get to convince them that it's okay, I was not able to achieve this because there was no proper allocation of funds? Yet there's also, you know, this talk of misappropriation of funds.
You see, misappropriation will be there. You know, misappropriation can
but we don't want it to be there.
Can be talked here, and it can be there, you know, in a system. Even in your own system here, you are seated here. You don't know what is happening at the back there. It is in everywhere. So misappropriation, and even in my own system, I've seen so many queries, which some I'm able to sort out, which others wake me up and make changes and to make sure that I attend the controls that are there. So this time, the goodness is that the national government has come out more open than they were. So we are able to understand if there are problems, if we are pushing for something. And also now the president is more accommodative of the governor. He's able to call us, we sit down and discuss issues. But at the beginning, first time, it was very difficult. There was suspicion everywhere. So that has created a problem. And you can see when I came in, there was a lot of fighting, and now it's quiet a bit because I'm able to pick a phone call and call the Minister for Internal Security on an issue, is sorted out. CS Finance is sorted out. Minister for Health, the same.
Is that a confirmation that, again, also the teething problems of devolution are going to be solved?
Yeah. Most of them are being sorted out because this is provided for in the Constitution that these two levels of government must consult and must work in consensus. And that is now what is happening during my regime as chairman of the council than it was before.
Okay, so yes, you've highlighted that some of the things that you would not be able to address, or maybe you've not been able to address. So briefly, in about like 3-4 of your achievements that you can boast and tell the people of Kakamega that yes.
The first achievement that I will say I have achieved is
Buhungu
the road network. Leave alone Buhungu Stadium.
All right.
The road network. I've tried to open, especially Moram roads. I usually carry out 10 kilometers per ward.
All right.
And we have 60 wards, so that is 600 kilometers per year. Yeah. So imagine all these years I've been there times 7. How many have I opened? Over 4,000.
All right.
And then I have been able to tarmac roads to the tune of 160 kilometers. My aim is to reach 200.
Yeah.
That one I have achieved. The other one, I'm building a very, very big hospital, a rare hospital that you will never see in this country in its standards. And I wish you came there and see it. It's a 750 bed, and it will be a regional hospital in that region. And I'm already engaging in the national community so that I get support.
Accomplished before the end of the term?
Yeah, that one will be accomplished before in fact, this year, we should be able to start operation.
All right. Can we pick this phone call from Kakamega? Yes. Also, Mheshimiwa. Good evening. Good evening.
Good evening.
Thank you so much for calling in. Kindly, let's get to hear your contribution. You can start by telling us your name. Jambo? It's not very clear on this side.
Not very clear.
Right. It's not very clear. I hope you call again so that we can get to hear from you. But also there are tweets or there are messages coming in.
Yeah.
In fact, there's one that has talked about biasness in terms, let me try and get a hold of that. Yes, there's one person who's tweeted or sent in a message saying that yes, there could be developments in Kakamega, but the question is that Mheshimiwa has sort of exercised biasness in terms of how development is, of course, disseminated at the level of the county. For instance, they say Butere has been overlooked, yet it's a sleeping giant, yet it has so much potential. What would you make of that?
Butere, how do you say Butere is
But that's what they say.
That's where I come from.
Okay,
I would be happy.
Well, Butere is where you come from.
Yeah,
I think that's why I need to get this. Yes. But then again, there's
that's where I come from. So if someone...
So you have to make the best of home.
Yeah. So
what is this? Yes. He says that this is a sleeping giant. So much has been channeled towards Butere, I think.
Yeah.
That is what he meant. Yeah, so much has been channeled towards Butere. Because there are many tweets. I'm not able to get a hold of that specific one. But then they feel like, there are areas that have been looked at well, but there are others that have not.
And that's why I'm saying that the roads is per ward. Our development unit is the ward.
All right.
Is the ward. So if we do everything, we do at the ward level.
All right. He's actually Brian Odhiambo says eagerly waiting, voted him, but I have a feeling he's biased on development projects. Some areas have been looked at pretty much well, others not.
No.
Yeah. So
that's
then is pointed. It should be directly pointed at the members of the county assembly.
Yeah, because in any case, I'm not the one who passes the budget.
All right.
So how will county assembly members who represent all the votes pass a budget that is biased?
So the great achievements that have been achieved on these other...
Yes. Yeah.
assemblies would want to assume that, yes.
There are two categories of projects. There are ward projects,
yes,
and there are county projects. Like the hospital is a county project. That covers everybody. The stadium is a county project.
Right.
And all these are
Do we have
Kakamega.
some in some of these areas, across all these areas?
No, those two are just in Kakamega.
In Kakamega, yes.
Yeah,
so
and we are doing them in Kakamega because that is the headquarters of the county.
Okay.
So will you say, I'm biased towards Kakamega, and this is the capital of Kakamega.
So much is not done in Butere in terms of getting hospitals there,
because the hospital,
in terms of getting banks
is
there. Okay.
And the roads, I have a plan of 20 kilometers per constituency. So that is we have 12 constituencies.
All right.
So they should query me, have you achieved the 20 kilometers per constituency?
All right, for the sake of the people of Kakamega then, in as much as maybe it's a ward affair, don't you think it would be noble for the governor to equally check and say that, you know what, who's the member of County Assembly A or member of County Assembly B? I feel like, so much is not being done towards this. Where is the money? Where is the accountability and all that? I know it's in the capacity of the senators and the likes to put.
You see, what I have told you, that our development unit is the ward.
Is the ward.
And number two, there is what we call public participation. You do all these projects you talk to the people, they propose.
Do you suppose the people then do not know? Really,
and then we have the councils at the community level.
Right.
A council of 20 people. These people sit and they are all spread around the country and they make proposals. And before we do a budget, we have to meet all CECs, all members of the county assembly, and say, this is the projects we are going to undertake.
All right. Okay, let's pick this one call, Mheshimiwa. Anna from Kenyatta University. Jambo.
Hello.
Jambo.
Hello.
Yes, hello.
Hi.
Hello, tunakusikia ndio.
My name is Anne.
Yes, Anne.
I wanted to inquire. The governor has said that Kakamega there's no water.
Yes.
How comes then there's river Isiku there?
How comes there's a?
There's a river Isiku there, so how come Kakamega does not have water?
All right. Okay, that's interesting. And I think the people need to understand that, yeah? Like where are the sources of water? Yes?
Look, and also, I've had several cases where the residents are complaining that they have to pay for the mortuary. Is it true? Or?
All right, yes, to pay for the mortuary. I think it's in the case that is today that the county government is going to waiver or to ensure that they pay for, of course, the expenses at the level of the mortuary. But then again, that has not been said. And like you said, I think that should be well communicated to the people.
Yes.
All right. So
let
the aspect of water.
Let me talk about the water. Yeah. I have started a major project in Kakamega town at Mlimani, costing 84 million Kenya shillings. That will ensure that Kakamega as a town will get water everywhere. Because this is our major urban area. The same to Mumias. We are doing a major water project. So the issue of water, that will be an issue of the past in the next 3-4 months.
All right, there you go, Anne. Thank you so much.
The issue of the mortuary, I've told you, and it's clear, it's in black and white. We have waived all mortuary expenses. The only confusion that there is that some of these people had bills.
Yes, hospital bills.
Hospital bills.
So the
hospital bill must be cleared. But the mortuary expenses is waived. And I've said this clearly. I've even sent my CEC to do it. So you must make that clarification that what is waived is the mortuary expenses.
All right.
But if you have medical bills that you have to pay, obviously that has to be paid.
All right. And another person right here, Magda, asks, what happened to the 400 million project of fencing Kakamega Forest? Before you answer that, let's first of all pick the story that was compiled by our reporter Salome Moirori again, and then we come react to that and equally to that particular story.
Wycliff Oparanya will go in history as the first governor of Kakamega County, elected on the 4th of March 2013 under the Orange Democratic Movement. He's a man whose work in politics started back in 2002 when he unseated the then Butere Member of Parliament, Amukoa Anangwe. The two-time elected governor of Kakamega County has faced his fair share of challenges as the governor of the most populous county after Nairobi County, a county famed for being home to farmers and fishermen, among other economic activities practiced in the area. It is the woes of Ken farmers that have made Oparanya an enemy to the management of the near-defunct Mumias Sugar Company. But despite his efforts to revive the company and the sector at large in his own backyard, farmers are yet to reap fruits from his efforts.
Nikaambiwa hautakikane huku. Yaani gavana mzima. Gavana wa county.
5 years ago, the governor had a frosty relationship with the then senator of Kakamega County. Dr. Boni Halwale had openly declared that he would send Oparanya packing. So nasty was the relationship that they almost exchanged blows, prompting the former premier Alela Odinga to downplay the bitter exchange of words at a burial ceremony.
Kwa primaries nomination chini, akitaka mwisho chini. Nataka saa hii bwana Halwale nikuambie mimi niko tayari kufezu wewe.
His time at the helm of the county has not been a walk in the park. He has had a backlash with members of the county assembly, but being a critic of devolved functions and a champion of protecting and defending governors facing impeachment motions, he has survived the tides of impeachment despite a court order for his arrest and numerous summons by the upper house. Oparanya, with bated breath, has fought for the empowerment of counties in regards to cash flow, faulting the devolved structures, saying that they should give power to counties to collect all the revenues and then forward a fraction of the revenue to the national government. During the launch of the BBI report, the chair of Council of Governors represented the views of the governors. In his words, and I quote, said that the 47 heads would examine their own Ugatuzi initiative and see if it would align with the recommendation of the BBI report. Months later, the governor is being accused of being among the governors pushing for a system giving prominence to regional leadership, giving space for governors serving a second term.
At the back of our mind, we should seek answers for the following. Why did our two leaders choose the path of dialogue?
During his homecoming ceremony after being elected as the chair of the Council of Governors in the month of February 2019, the governor raised eyebrows over his 2022 ambition of becoming the president.
All right, before we react to that story, because then we'll touch on that as we talk on matters devolution, fate of devolution, and BBI as we get to wind up. It's important then that you address that question that has been asked in regards to the 400 million, Kakamega forest fencing project, and equally on matters education. You know the predicament that played out in Kakamega the other day, when we lost students at some point in time. We ask ourselves what has been done or what measures have been put towards ensuring that, yes, the education sector is well streamlined.
Yeah, now on the 400 million fencing of Kakamega forest, forestry is under the national government.
Yes.
But as a county, we thought this is a natural resource, a natural resource for Kakamega people. Right. So we initiated dialogue with the national government. Luckily, as we were initiating, we were also able to reach to the development partners. And we found one, Reno Arc, who are vast in fencing, forests and management of forests, and they agreed to partner with us. So as a county, we agreed to put in 100 million. Reno Arc agreed to put in another 100 million.
Right.
And Vihiga County, because the forest also covers part of Vihiga County, agreed to put in 30 million. And then the balance was to be put in by the national government. So that has already been agreed, and we are in the process of now procuring whoever will do the fencing. So that deal is sealed. So we will soon launch that particular project.
We'll observe that.
Yeah, we have already provided 25 million in our own budget as county government for that particular purpose for 1 year, because that project will take 2 to 3 years to be completed.
All right. On the milk, there was also a project that was sort of brought on board in regards to the milk, the launching. I remember at some point in time you launching that.
Yes.
How far are we with that?
With
the milk industry?
Yeah, that is in place. They are constructing the factory.
All right.
Is in progress in Malaba. So we are hopeful that by the end of the year.
All right. So much work in progress. I think
we are also starting to construct the tea factory in Shinyalu. Right. So tell me, who will accuse me for?
No, so much work. We can only celebrate once it has been done. Yes, and I hope you will be there or available to be here so that you're able to speak to the people, because I take note exactly of the key things that are in progress, and we want to touch on that. On the aspect of education, as we cross over to Salome's story.
It's unfortunately what happened in Kakamega, where we lost 15 pupils of Kakamega Primary School. And we were told by the national government that investigation will be done thoroughly, no stone will be left unturned, and we will get a report in 1 week's time. Now I think it's 2 months, we have not got any report. So that is squarely on the national government to make sure that we get a report, and we are eager as parents.
Would you say the national government is failing you in as much as saying?
Yeah, in that area.
Yeah.
They are failures, definitely. Because I thought that was a simple exercise investigation. It was a school, so you will just interview the pupils, interview the teachers, maybe few parents and those who work there, and you will be able to compile a report.
What pressure have you put towards the
Yeah, of course, like we talk like this puts on pressure. The other day we also lost a community administrator, we went there. You know, she also lost her life mysteriously. So we were also referring to this case of Kakamega. Now, they were saying they are carrying out investigation. I said, but the other day, it happened in Kakamega, no report has come out.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. We talk a bit about Salome's story that has hugely touched on the aspect of the BBI, has touched on the growth of devolution and the question marks that we have, and your capacity as chair of the Council of Governors in addressing the issues of the counties as it stands today. What next for devolution? Because that is a question that we keep asking. Having been amongst the pioneer groups, you're now on phase 2, but still we sort of feel like it was the best thing, but equally not the best thing in equal measure.
You see, the best thing we got out of the new constitution of 2010 was devolution.
All right.
That's number one.
Okay.
Because maybe Kakamega will not be where it is at the moment. Because even if you look at the funds that we get now from for allocation to the county of Kakamega, and compare what comes from the national government to develop Kakamega, it's a drop in the ocean. You compare what we do at the county, compare with what the national government is doing, you find that we are doing a lot. So if there was no devolution, then Kakamega will not be where it is. So we support BBI because of that aspect of devolution. The fact that they are saying now more funds will go to the counties from 15 to 35. We are saying as Council of Governors, we require 45%. And you see, this will tame so many this unemployment we have, migration from rural area to urban areas. That will be a thing of the past.
Governor, how soon until we realize, revenue generated at the level of the counties sustaining themselves?
Yeah, it is very difficult. Let me tell you, because of the structures that we have.
Okay. Should we revisit the structures and the policies?
Yeah, we need to revisit the structures because our revenue stream has been restricted. Most of the revenues goes to the national government. Go and see other developed countries, how they have done it. You find that people who are in that particular county or state pay taxes to the locals. And then it's the local government that pays a fraction to the national government. But here is vice versa. So we must change that. And I was hopeful that the BBI would do that.
Is that to say then that Nairobi is safe now that some of the functions have been channeled towards the national government?
I can't say Nairobi, and I've never supported
this.
I have never supported function of the Nairobi City County to go to the national government. I've never supported that. But maybe the circumstances were beyond our control. And the fact that the governor also agreed in writing I had nothing to do as a chairman of the Council of Governors. But if you consulted me, I would have said, let us
It is a
struggle.
constitutional, agreeable
It is
move.
within in the Constitution.
Yeah.
You can agree by signing, but by approval by the County Assembly, if they approve, then you can do that.
All right.
But I have never supported that move. But what we should do is to strengthen counties.
All right.
Build capacity in counties, give them more money, make them semi-autonomous. They will have actually did.
All right, briefly as we wind up, Mheshimiwa, on the aspect of the BBI, why this huge support? Is it because it clearly is going to bring changes, for the country? Yet you say that he had not discussed much or addressed much on the aspect of the counties as we finalize. Or is it a political interest, as many would put it? Now the governors are looking at what next after 2022, so we have to find ourselves
of
something.
course,
that one is
that will not be a motivation aside.
Yes.
Because there are so many governors who are going out.
Yeah.
There are 22 governors.
Right.
Who are serving their second term. So don't expect all these governors to get
majority of which that support
and to create positions. Of course, these people have varied experiences, having managed counties for 10 years, and some of them are young. You will expect them, since they are in a political system, to aspire for higher posts than they are.
Are you aspiring for higher? Because they're obvious.
Obviously,
2022 president.
2022, I have declared my interest.
Your interest.
Yeah. So I'm pushing my interest also.
All the best, Mheshimiwa.
Yes.
All the best. Thank you
very much.
so much. At some point, Salome started by saying that he's championed for, two-third gender rule to go through. But then again, equally, you've also been against this aspect of having, governors being deputized by ladies. But that's a story for another day. As we watch over, as we wind up. Thank you so much.
As I come here, I will tell you why I'm against it.
Looking forward to host you again, Mheshimiwa. Thank you so much for your time this evening. The people of Kakamega must be impressed wherever they are. If not impressed, then lots of questions, of course, in regards to what you've done for them, and we'll get to answer them another time on Pledge. Thank you so much for your feedback. So much feedback coming in, but again, in the interest of time, we'll not be able to go through all of them. Wycliff Oparanya, Governor Kakamega County, and equally chair the Council of Governors. It was great having you this beautiful evening, and we're looking forward to more sessions of Pledge Watch as we put our leaders to task. I must say, it was great having you this particular evening. I get to see you again next time, same place. My name is Linda Alela, doing this alongside Josephine Uko. See you and have a pleasant night.